Mm. So, Adrienne, tell us where you're up to on this so-called journey.
Hello. Don't know, I haven't been here for a while. Last time I was here, I was very sad and emotional, but that's over.
So it wasn't that kept you away?
No. I just didn't feel that I had anything to say when called upon to talk.
And look, you can always say that. I need to remind people of that one. Some people don't want to say anything, you know. So usually they just have their camera turned off, and I don't ask them to say anything if their camera's turned off. But if your camera's turned on and you don't want to say anything, you just tell me, and I'll leave you alone, you know. But
I know. It's in between the two. It's sort of, I want to talk, but then I don't have much to say.
right. Yeah.
But since the emotional phase finished, it's been very peaceful and happy.
Right.
So, very peaceful. That's all I can say, really.
So would you, when you say that the emotional thing finished, does it feel like you've shifted, that something is different as a result of that process?
It seems strange now. If that was a different me that was crying so much. Just can't imagine why.
Mm-hmm.
What on earth was wrong? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And we don't have to know the details of it, you know, just the mere fact that it was and now it's different. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very strange because when I was in that phase, it was not conceptual. It was not in my head. There were no thoughts. It was just a lot of raw feeling of sadness. And I didn't know why, what was going on. And it just ran out.
Great. Yeah.
And stopped. And that was at the end of January. And since then, everything's fine.
Right. Well, that's significant. Yeah. Yeah. Sadness is an interesting one. Sadness doesn't have to have stories about what you're sad about. It's almost like it's a body expression, sadness. But grief, on the other hand, has lots of stories about why it shouldn't be and what should be different and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that you experience that as sadness, you know, is sweet. It's something really rather nice about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some kind of a release.
Yes. There's also a lot of detachment from the thoughts and even the feelings.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, it's just a thought, you know.
That's a big one. I mean, that sounds like it's almost mundane, but it's not. It's a huge one, isn't it? We do, because we used to believe our thoughts fully. Yeah.
Definitely not anymore.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah.
Yeah. But even the feelings, it's like, not my business.
Okay, right.
It's like it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
It's there. I know it's there, but okay, so it comes and goes.
With that one, it's and that's kind of another level stuff, I think, but that's really good. As it's important for you to appreciate that what is your attitude about that? What is your relationship to that? If you can if you don't feel like a victim, so to speak,
No,
that's brilliant.
no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. So when we're at the early stages of seeing through the illusion of self, it's all very, very much about not believing thoughts automatically. But then once that's established, then of course we've got feelings to deal with. So in a sense, the beginning of not believing our thoughts is where we elevate the value of feelings and to reduce the value of thought. Right? But then once that's the thorn that we've got out, well, then we've got to deal with the feeling thing. So that's, as I say, that's a kind of a next level thing. So recognizing that your feelings are not owned by anybody, they're just there is
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that's definitely a shift. Yeah.
yeah.
Which
All the feelings are connected to thoughts.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So if there's a negative feeling, I just know there was a negative thought that was believed, and now it's not believed. It's just okay. It was believed for a moment, and then no.
So does the word freedom resonate with you as a result of this change in you? Do you feel more free?
There is something happening, but it's like a separation happening from this person here.
Yeah.
It's like
How do you feel
watching
about that?
the person or
Yeah.
the body, watching the body mind
Mm-hmm.
from a different place.
Yeah. Right. So how do you feel about that? What is the tone of it for you?
It's totally detached.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it feels like the drama is over.
Yeah. How much do you feel, say, a sense of love or a sense of compassion?
That has always been very strong.
Yeah, great, great. Okay. So that detachment is not a deadening per se. Yeah,
No,
right, right. All
but
right.
compassion has changed.
Mm.
Um, Compassion used to be very painful.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was like I suffered with everyone else.
Mm.
It was my suffering as well, but it's not suffering anymore. It's I, it's like I understand the pain, but there's no suffering.
Mm. Mm. Wow. Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds really, really good to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
So have you been through Liberation Unleashed? Have you been in that
I
process?
have. Yes, yes. Before I joined you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the reason I ask that is that I'm thinking that you guiding would be a really good thing for you to do at this stage, if you're inclined to. As a
Not,
way.
not at this stage.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. It's helpful to keep going, that's all. Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Jerry, are you a new face or have I just forgotten you?
I'm a new face. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was actually guided by Alan last year leading into January. And then he gave me the contact info. And this is just the first time I've been able to be able to join.
Right. Oh, good one. Glad you're here. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So tell us how your experience has been since guiding finished.
So very interesting in a lot of ways. It's a lot of things that didn't make sense beforehand make sense now. Like with the metaphor of like the gateless gate, like that beforehand, it was like, what could that actually mean? And I was like, oh, that's very funny.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's something that was always there. It was always there, yet somehow it's like new at the same time. And since then, it's I guess I've naturally been looking more towards reactions because there's still like thoughts of like I but there's not like a belief with it, but there's still a reaction attached to those
Oh,
thoughts.
yeah.
And just watching those reactions happen.
So the whole um the interest in this stuff is not waned for you. It's still there, quite active, eh?
Yes, yes. It's probably gotten stronger with time.
Okay, good on, yeah. So what about doubts? Have you experienced doubt thoughts turning up?
Yes, but those are fairly easy to see through because they're just thoughts. Sometimes they might be reacted to as if they were real, but then not for long. It's like, oh yeah, that's still just thought, and that is pretty funny.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Seems like Alan did his job properly.
Well,
Yeah,
I tell you, it was so lovely to see you, Jerry. You know, we talk about this event that happens, and Jerry really describes his experience so well. And help me if I've got this right, Jerry. You said there was a point where you realised this had snuck up on you, and you didn't realise.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was kind of, you looked over your shoulder and said, "Oh, this is how it is now." So
Right. Yeah, it was a
we
very nice surprise.
we'd been talking earlier, Jerry, about this fact that we use this term, the shift, and sometimes people can relate to a specific moment and say, "Oh, that's when it happened." Whether that is exactly the case or not can be a question, but often for us, it's for many of us, it's this gradual process. Someone used the metaphor of a shower. You can stand in a deluge of rain and get soaked, or you stand in a mist for a long time and you get soaked too, but it takes a longer time and you don't realize you're getting wet, perhaps. So that was
Yeah.
more the case in your situation, as I recall.
Hmm. And that was probably one of my largest expectations, was that it would be like some big fireworks moment. So I think that made it for a lot. It was a big expectation to be subverted when I noticed that it had already happened.
So why are you here?
Well, curiosity for one. I just wanted to see what all of this was about, and then also I have felt like perhaps some form of dialogue, some form of dialogue would be helpful at this point for me, because I guess I feel like I'm making progress, and then at the same time, there's also like I'm seeing that, you know, progress is also just sort of an idea in the first place. In a sense, I just had a feeling to join.
Good on you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. Yeah.
And don't forget, Jerry, if you ever get the sense of an inclination to guide,
Mm-hmm.
you're always welcome.
Yeah. And do you recognize that there's always more, that there's no end to this?
It seems to be like there is no end. It hasn't ended yet.
Mm. Yeah, I think it will probably end when you're on your deathbed, and maybe not. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's something I've sort of had thoughts about too, how even like death, or sort of like whatever is beyond, is also just a conception. So then, yeah.
Mm.
Jerry, I don't know whether you'd be happy just to talk about the nature of the vacation you're involved in. I remember you talking about having conversations with clients and finding them so rich, and a lot of your colleagues were not finding that same depth of experience, and you felt it was because of how you now experience life with no me. Is there anything there that you'd like to say?
Well, I think you pretty much said it. I think, at least with like my job, it's with it's with social work, so it's a lot of like phone calls, talking with people that are in fairly rough situations, and I guess it just seems like effortlessly for me, all of those conversations are fairly, I don't get like frustrated all that often. I enjoy them, and people were never rude to me. But then for some of my coworkers, people are complaining, or this or that, and I guess there's just something that's I don't know what it is, but I I guess people just seem calmer around me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you could analyze it a bit. You could say, well, for sure, people don't feel judged. They feel heard.
Yeah.
They feel like there's a connection. These are the things that give you your experience. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there was one call, I think like 3 weeks ago, where I was laughing so hard with the other person, I was like on the floor.
A literal
And
LOL, eh?
yeah, and it was funny because it was so it was a very like, it almost seemed very inappropriate for us both to be laughing, because we were talking about it like a very grim situation, but still there was just like a great deal of humor in it.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're meeting people where they are in everyday life. When we see life like it is, it can be a very different experience for them too.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is a really informal thing that we do here, and we don't.
Mhm.
Nobody has to put their hand up to talk or anything. Just jump in if you've got something to say. And we're a mixture of current guides and people who are still seeking. So it's amazing that anybody saying something, others will resonate with it. So
Mhm.
feel free to jump in with anything, with anybody.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you looking so serious, Dennis?
Thanks, Vince, for acknowledging me. Yeah, hi, first of all, and hi to everybody here. This is the second time I've come on. I don't know, I'm just really angry and pissed off at the minute. That's kind of the overriding sense of this stuff, been at it for years, not going anywhere. It's all a waste of time. This is all bullshit. Come on here and talk to people like you, and nothing ever happens. As I'm on here, I find that idea finds it very hard to stand up against the people who are on, the compassionate speaking, the authenticity. But when I'm on my own, this is all bullshit. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's ever changed. I was doing an exercise with my guide, and I think for so long there was this sense of presence and looking at that and thought and not believing them. And when I did an exercise, it was like, hold on a minute here. I am thoughts. I exist because of thoughts. Thoughts are me, and there's nothing I can do about it. I am thoughts, and I can't get rid of myself, so I'm fucked. And just really angry, really annoyed. So I don't know whether I've just lost some sense or what, but I just feel really confused. I feel nothing's working. Life's not going the way you might have hoped, and it's hopeless.
Mm.
Ask a question?
Yeah, don't ask.
Yes, Anna?
Jump in, yeah.
Dennis, if you put all your thoughts away, all your memories away, any past away, any future away, what are you now without any thought? Just a sensation. What are you now? Without knowing anything.
I mean, right now I just feel like a body with a heart beating, sensations
How
in
do
the
you know
body.
yours a body? Is that another thought? The bodily sensations, but it doesn't say that that is what you are. If you don't attach a thought to that. Breathing is there, bodily sensations there. Sense of beingness, presence is there. That's all there is.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and that's all sort of reporting to me that I'm feeling that.
And that's all there is. That's all. Just go back to that again and again and again, and just stay in that sensation. That's helped to detach from thoughts. And then it's kind of, you will see more your prior any thought appearing.
Yeah, I was talking to my guide about that actually, Anna, and when I'm in, or when I do that, it's like the draw back into mind is so addictive. Being in that space feels naked, vulnerable, sort of, oh Jesus, there's a draw back into the comfort or the soother of thought. Yeah, definitely. But then the mind would say, is that the practice? So should I just sit in silence, do nothing, and notice that, and just do that every day for hours? Is that it?
Do that and see what happens without any expectations. Because if you're expecting something to happen, that's another thought. Just go to that primer, like, sensation of your beingness without any thoughts, and just be there. Just enjoy that. Just enjoy that sensation itself. Soak in it. Marinate in it.
So Dennis, you said a minute ago, I'm just a body feeling it, or something like that. Do you recognize that language is incapable of describing what is actually going on? That language almost actually lies to you about what's going on. Do you recognize that's what shaped your thoughts?
Yeah, I when you say that, it resonates. Like, it's what you're saying is true. It's like thoughts are a poor explanation for what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Nothing is what you'd say it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that is big. That is really huge, you know. So when you recognize that, it gets a lot easier to debunk the literal thing that thoughts are saying. You can say, oh, okay, that's just a really, really superficial thing. That's just part of the script. But what's actually going on can't really be described. It can't be described accurately. We have to, I don't know, I'll make up a new word here. We have to simplisticate it. We have to make it so simple and so superficial to actually talk about it that it's got nothing to do with what's actually going on. The details of what's actually going on is something else. And so if you hone in on that sentence, you know, that I am a body feeling, well, straight away you can throw out the I am, that part. That's just another bit of bullshit, isn't it? Do you see that as bullshit? The I am. What there is feeling. And then when you look at that, what you can see is that feeling is a combination of sensation and thoughts, stories. It's the stories that give the sensation meaning that we call feeling. So if you say, oh, I am feeling XYZ, doesn't matter what it is, whatever it is you say you're feeling, that's a label that, again, doesn't get close to what's actually going on. So if you say, oh, I'm feeling pissed off, well, that's just a label. What's actually going on there is a feeling of tightness, probably in the stomach area, maybe, or the chest area, depending on whatever, or it might be in your hands. You know, once you get into the details, language just can't cut it at all.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of stuff going on in the body and emotions that are not clear emotions. It's just uncomfortableness in the body, uncomfortableness with feelings, and it's like that is then generating the stories or the thoughts.
Yep.
That so and I know, because I've thought about this last week, that all that thinking and thoughts is like an alarm bell to look in and see what's under, what's discomforting, what's annoying, what sensations are being felt, or what emotions are there. There's a lot of, you know, like you want to jump out of your skin. You're contained in a body, and it's just manifesting in weird ways. Like, I feel like I can't, like I'm eating a lot more than I ever did, and I can't seem to stop. I just want to keep eating. It's weird things, behaviors and activities, just stuff like that. It's like, it all feels like, from the person's perspective, it doesn't look good. And I'm like, well, is this the way to enlightenment? Do you have to fall apart and go off the rails to wake up? And I'm like, oh, I'm just probably deregulated. I'm just probably, whatever damage was done when you were young is done, and that's it. That's the end of it. You can't, I've been trying everything for 20 years. And I know what Anna just said there, the idea of expecting, I'm expecting something. And the gentleman before, how it, you know, kind of slipped up behind him. That was interesting to hear because, you know, at this stage, I'm feeling like I'd rather just put all this away, try and go back to a normal life and forget about it because it's not, it doesn't work. You know, that's kind of what I've been thinking about.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah. That's another wonderful fantasy that if you go back to a normal life, you'll be free of all of this the suffering that comes with this not getting somewhere, whatever it is. Yeah, but you can't go back to a normal life. You can't go back to sleep completely like that.
But it's like I've been Vince going for years that there's something better. This life, this way of living, this suffering that's happened, and different things kicked it off. Like when my brother died years ago, 20 years ago, you know, and what I went through with that, and this is the thing that will fix everything. And it's like now you're just thinking, nothing's going to fix everything. You are where you are. This is your life. That's the end of it.
Yeah. And so, what if I said to you that what you're thinking you're looking for is something to be fixed, but what will actually happen is that you'll be you'll have a different relationship with all the shit that's going on, right? So the shit will still be there, and what will happen is that you'll not, it won't get out of hand. You know, it's like, okay, so what you'll discover is that there is an eye of the storm where there's the wind is not buffeting you and the rain is not pissing down heavily. I mean, that almost sounds like fixing something as well, but the shit will still be there, but it'll be okay. That's the end result, rather than the shit will go away. The shit won't go away, but you won't make it worse. So at the moment, you know, the normal thing is that a little bit of shit will turn up, and the first reaction to it is that shouldn't be here, which is a second bit of shit that gets added to it, and then you know, and then I shouldn't be feeling this, and away it goes, you know, and then we get a torrent of stuff that's happening, all started by a tiny little bit of shit that turned up. Yeah.
I got something to add, Dennis. If you go back where Anna brought you, you know, if you had no thoughts and you were just the sensations and that present awareness, right? That space. Okay.
Yeah.
And what comes is the thought, is this it? Is this it? Just sit here and do this, nothing all day long. And you can feel the sensations that come from that, almost like you're going mad. Like, oh my God, I have to do something. I have to seek. I have to be productive. I can't just sit here. See, those are just more thoughts. Those are just more thoughts. And you can feel the sensations in your body. And yes, that is it. That's what Anna was trying to tell you. That is it. And you will sit there and that is it. And anything else is a thought trying to get you to not be there. And it's almost painful. You'll feel them burn.
Yeah, as you're saying it there, Jenny, yeah, it's because I want to say, well, it feels uncomfortable. The body wants to get up and run. I want to race to the finish line. I want to be gone.
I want to get somewhere. Yes, I need to eat. I need to distract. I need to get out of here. I need to do this. I need to be productive. I have to get out of here. Yes, that's it. And those are thoughts and sensations trying to drive you back out into your head. And so, yes, practice sitting just there. And what'll happen is like Anna was saying, you'll start to feel the separation of those thoughts. They'll start to lose their grip on you. You'll believe some of them and you'll go running after them, hook, line, and sinker. And then you'll pop back out and you'll go, oh, okay. And then you come back here again. And pretty soon they'll lose their grip on you. And then it'll just be, oh, that's just a thought. But what we'll rename is the sensations that it's stirring. And then you sit with that insanity for a while. And yes, that's it. That's it. But what's happening is you are now awake to observe the patterns. You aren't the patterns. You're the awakeness watching the patterns play out and the sensations in your body that's associated with them. And in time, you just sitting there, yes, doing that, nothing, a lump on the log, not productive, not busy, not a goal to get, somewhere to be, someone to come, I need to wake up. That's all a thought. I need to wake up. That's just a thought. You're awake. You're present. You can feel, you can see the thoughts trying to pull you back out into the mind. And sometimes they will, sometimes you'll go for it. And then you bring yourself back here again. And soon, in time, in the perfect time, you'll find them letting go of their grip. And you'll find out they're not even letting go of their grip. You're not believing them anymore. And the sensations will start to diminish. That'll take whatever time it takes as well. You know, and I get it. It's like, feels like you're going mad. I get it. But this is it.
Well, yeah, there's like subtler layers of thoughts, and they can kind of grab you without you noticing, because like some of them when you were talking were, oh yeah, these emotions need to come up, another thought. You know, I need to let this settle and see what comes up. I'll probably need to be angry and cry, more thoughts. So it's like it's co-opting the experience and going along with you. So yeah, they're very slippery, very slippery.
Yes, yes. And that's it. That's it. You're awake and you're watching the patterns, and you'll get sucked into some. That's okay. That's cool. It's all perfect. And because who's seeing the getting sucked into? You are, which means you're still awake.
I know, but the thought wants to say, I've been doing this on and off for 20 years. Like,
Doing thinking, trying to get, you see it right there. Go back. Oh, it's so comfortable seeking. The urgency in the gut. The mind is screaming. Just right there, you see it? It started to pull you out again. I've been doing this in the blah, 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 blah. You see the thought going on and how it feels? Trying to pull you back in. Doing what so long? Who's been doing what so long? It's a story. Can you feel it? This can't be it. This can't be it. I need to go look some more. It's not enough.
yeah, there's definitely expectation. I'm expecting something. I'm expecting something to change, something to shift. All the words I've heard for years.
Yeah, for years. And it's the mind's interpretation of what that's supposed to look like that's catching you. Because when you're seeking, it sounds different than the actuality. The mind interprets it as some crazy, lofty goal that's always forever elusive. And there's going to be this big flash of light and a fifth dimensional LSD experience. And the mind makes up all kinds of how it's going to look. And it's,
you know, it's funny you say that. Jenny, I was just going to say, like, probably at the start of this month, I was going through this constant battle in my head, whatever way or whatever place I'm at. I'm like, am I sure I'm not already awake? Have I had an awakening? Maybe I haven't. Maybe I have. Someone needs to tell me, no, Dennis, you haven't. You're not awake yet. Ken shows down the road whenever that. I'm like, I did something. And it's just like, I don't even know if I'm awake or not. And that's the worst.
watching that.
Yeah.
Who's watching that? I'm awake. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. See, it's two thoughts in your head arguing with each other. You see, and who's watching? Who's watching? I'm awake. No, you're not. You're really not awake, but maybe I am. No, you're not. You can't be. You haven't had the experience yet. Now, who's watching those two thoughts have a discussion and argue with each other? What's watching?
Yeah, that's silence, that space, that emptiness.
Yes, that's you. Those other things are two thoughts arguing with each other on whether or not you're awake. You're the silent
But I
witness.
don't know that that's me because I can observe that. It's like I notice that, so I'm apart from it, whatever I am.
Right, because you can see it, it's not you. You're not an object. The fact you can see it means it's not you. You're not an object. You can't be seen. You're just pure awareness. You can't be seen. So if you can see it, it's not you.
Yeah, I feel like with my guide, I'm working towards that recognition of the exercises show you there is no self. So I can kind of see that, but I still don't.
Can you sense what I'm saying? Yeah, don't think about it. Don't try to understand it. Don't try to understand it. Can you sense it? What's watching the two thoughts argue over whether you're awake or not? Just sense it. Don't try to understand it.
Yeah, it's complete clarity.
Yeah, stay there. When you start to try to understand it, that's just the mind working again. And you may go there a few times. That's all right. The mind's going to try to understand it, but it can't be understood. Can't be. But the mind will do it till it exhausts itself.
But why stay there?
Why stay in the awareness?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. It's just that's who you really are. Everything else is a thought. Staying there is where your power is. That's the gap. That's that little gap of who you are separating from the illusion of the world your thoughts are creating. So it's your place of power. It's your place of truth. It's that eye in the storm that Vince was talking about. Thoughts come and go, emotions come and go, but you're still okay. It's the untouchable place. Yet there's so much compassion there, but it won't look like the compassion you've known. It'll look different. That's your place of power. That's the gap. To stay there widens the gap, has it grow, and separates you more and more from believing that you're your thoughts. So practice staying in the gap just makes it stronger. It's a refocus of your attention back to who you are rather than lost in a world of chaos.
It's like only practice you need. Just go back to that all day long, as many times as you can remember. Just attention back to into source. That what can be described, but it's felt. You can't step out of it. And just back into that, and again back into that all day long. Before you get up, when you've fallen asleep, all the time. Just anytime you remind, you put even reminder on your phone or something, and just do it. Like oh yes, that's.
And the why is important. The why is important. The why is because you're refocusing your attention on the truth of who you are, or do you want to stay lost in the thoughts? And
you can still speak from that place. You can still communicate, talk, which I feel like I'm doing right now.
Yes, from your heart, words still come out. And then you'll catch yourself when you're starting to speak through an old program of lack or scarcity or jealousy or whatever shows up. And you'll go, oh, and then you'll go drop back in the spot. You'll see that that's a thought. You'll see how it's having you feel. You'll be able to see the programs. You'll be able to see the filters and the chaotic thoughts and how they've been running your life, rather than stepping back in your power. Refocus your attention on the truth of who you really are. The why is because that's who you are. It'll pull you out of that painful seeking and not enough and gotta go. Is this it? It'll put you back in that solid ground, and you'll get it more and more. The more you focus, the more you strengthen that area by focusing on it and noticing the pattern, the more grounded you'll get. I'm awake, I'm not awake, and blah, blah, blah. It's excruciating, painful, that mental head. But I'm still talking. Anna's still talking. Vince is still talking.
And you see that can shows at first awakening. That's all what you realize. This ever-present presence. That's all there is. Nothing else. Nothing else.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Probably 10 years ago on a retreat with Adja, he said the same thing. It kind of walked me into that space and said, just stay there. Just stay there as often as you can, and you can't help but wake up. I can remember him clearly saying it. Obviously, 10 years later, here I am.
Well, that's
Life
because
has its own.
you think you're not awake. But what watches, you start to believe the thoughts. And when you're in that place, it's peaceful. Then what watches the thought try to pull you out? What watches the two thoughts argue?
Yeah, no, I agree. But Jenny, it's probably because I'm going back to the memory of an experience that happened once after retreat. And it was only for a couple of minutes, where it felt like the sense of me, whatever the sense or the feeling of me is, fell away. And I was talking to a friend saying, geez, Aaron, I'm talking to you, but there's nobody talking to you. And it was really funny, and it was very light, and it felt amazing. And I was like, I'm talking to you, but there's nobody talking to you. And so there's probably an expectation that something like that in how you experience the world has to come about.
Yeah, I understand. I've had those awakening experiences too, and they were very confusing, because what happens is you take a jump in consciousness. I'm going to make this up just to best describe it, because it's hard to explain it. But what happens is you have a jump in consciousness, and it's so expansive, it feels like that. But then you integrate it, and it starts feeling normal. And so you're actually wanting to go backwards and have it again. You know, so they happen or they don't happen, but they are not the awakening. That's just a jump, like a realization.
Yeah, it felt like okay, I understand what you're saying. It felt like to me, yeah, it felt like the center of me just fell away.
Yeah,
but I hear what you're saying. Yeah, so it's like put it layman's terms, you go up a level, but then you integrate that. It's not that sustains itself.
Yes. So you're trying to recreate something in the past because your mind is making something up about it. But you've acclimated. You've acclimated, and if you go back to that experience and sit with it and sense into it, don't think into it and miss it from the past and try to recreate it. But go back and remember it and be with it and sense its vibration, sense its essence. And if you realize it, you're there. Be with it. Be with that awakening moment that you had. And don't try to get it or get somewhere or recreate it or go or miss it, or just sit with how you felt when you had it, when you were having it. And you'll find that you are still there. Your mind has told you you're not.
Yeah, it feels like there's a heaviness to me now that wasn't there then.
So sit with that heaviness, because when we have those, everything comes up to be integrated now. It's kind of like the shit starts floating to the surface because now you're awake to see it. So when that heaviness starts to come up, sit in that awake space and watch the heaviness and just sit with it and be with it. The dross is rising up out of the silver now because you can see it. It doesn't mean you've fallen asleep. It means that you're awake enough to see the stuff floating to the surface now.
So it feels like it's getting worse, but it's actually not potentially getting worse. It's just getting cleared.
Yes. So what's watching that heaviness arise? Don't bypass it. Be with it. Be its witness. And let it integrate. And yeah, it's going to feel like it's getting worse. Just like I need to stay busy. feels like it gets louder until it like you feels like you're going to go mad and like this anxiety or whatever, right, in your body, and just sit with that because you're awake enough to be with it now. It's coming up to be integrated and released and resolved, whatever the hell it does. I don't know, you know, but it doesn't matter because you're not doing anything. You're just witnessing it. There's no one to become. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to get. There's nothing to do. You just be that presence. And as the stuff starts to float up, you just be with it as it's
Okay.
leaving.
So Dennis, what are your
Have you-
expectations about thoughts later on? When you're fully awake, what do you think thoughts will be doing?
I don't know exactly, Vince, but my sense of things right now and for the last while is that there's different, just put it crudely, there's different types of thoughts, or like sometimes I can be speaking to people and it feels like it's very clear and clean and, you know, like a samurai sword, it's just thoughts doing their thing. And then there's other types of thoughts that are generated from unconscious emotions or sensations or, you know, stuff that's maybe pain body. I feel like there's different ways of thoughts appearing out of me and into words. And so to kind of answer your question, I don't know, like, will there be thoughts or how I'll act or speak on those thoughts, but maybe there's a sort of an expectation that the thoughts will be clearer and the expression of those thoughts will be clearer. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know is the honest answer.
What if I told you that the most likely thing that will happen is that your thoughts will still be the same shitty thoughts that happen now, and that they'll keep on going, but you will develop a different relationship to them, that essentially you'll dismiss them as being meaningless, whereas now you put a lot of meaning on them. So you have a second layer of thoughts that describe the first layer of thoughts as meaningful and believable and so on. So you'll just get to the point where you'll just say to thoughts, stay in the background. I'm not interested in what you're going on about. So that it's not that they will disappear. No, they might. But it's not generally that they will disappear. It's that you'll simply stop taking any notice of them, or you will recognize that what they're on about is based on some unconscious trauma, that they're actually meaningless in themselves. They're just an expression of that trauma, whatever it is.
Yeah, I can sense into what you're saying, Vince. They feel very limited, very just not true, not real.
But they're very clever. They're very seductive as well. They promise you satisfaction if you follow them down the rabbit hole. They never deliver, of course.
It's like they're an energy hit. They give the energy away to disperse or burn up a little bit because of that uncomfortableness that the thought is like. It's like a drug, really. They're like drugs.
Yeah. And we definitely get addicted to certain kinds of thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're comforting. They give you your sense of self, who you are.
Yeah. And so that stimulated a thought that I often say, that a self is a suit of body armor, and what it's all about is defense. It's all about keeping us away from that uncomfortable bits that's there below the surface.
Yeah. I mean, my takeaway from this is to, like the lady said, do some sitting and stay in that space, and then again, every moment of the day, when I can recognize it. So you're spending more time in that place as opposed to in thoughts.
Yeah, you're
And
changing the habits. Yeah,
but with no expectation. That's a key piece there.
that's right. You can't
not-
fail. Whatever you do, you cannot fail. What you've previously interpreted as a failure is just a missed opportunity. Everything that comes up, all of the so-called shit that's there, is trying to look after you. Now, it's misguided, but its intentions are good.
Yeah.
Mind is a wee bit like, when you see people walking dogs on a leash and they just like pulling very hardly and people just struggling to hold them. That's what mine does all the time. It's the best picture, like you can say, just like pulling. It's like it has such a strong momentum. It's a boom, and you're fully into that, and that's it, just gone. So when you're practicing this, like returning back and just leaning back, it's like you're pulling that dog back on beside here, back here.
And it's absolutely amazing how much strength a little dog has got. A tiny little dog can just about pull your arm out of the socket.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Dennis, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And that energy, that seeking energy, it actually feels like on the energetic, like, just go, do, like, it really just feels in the muscles, like, just like restless, just like moving somewhere, just doing something.
Yeah. Can't sit still, can't even sit down, walking up and down the kitchen, just in nervous energy. Like, it's gotten way worse lately, just
So what's
distracting myself.
Yeah, describing it as worse, you're putting a judgment on it. Now, I'm not saying don't do that, but recognize that that's what you're doing. So it's got more intense, you mean?
Yeah.
So that's a description without the judgment. Yeah. So the whole idea is, it's easy to get the impression that what Jenny and Anna are saying is that you shouldn't have those thoughts, right? But they're not saying that. It's saying just recognize them for what they are, and they're just that seduction or even aggression to. So your thoughts are one way. You run away from what's going on. You use your thoughts. Activity is another way to do it. Eating's another way to do it. Right? These are all diversions, distractions. They're all attempts to get you away from an uncomfortable feeling. And so if you find that you're sitting like Jenny was talking about, the idea is to sit in awareness and just watch what's going on. But if you find that that's not what's actually happening, that's not bad. That's not wrong. That's just something for you to, it's offering itself to you to look at.
Yeah, you don't have to sit. Eating was a big one for me too, because it's just anything but sitting here, anything but nothing, anything but this. And so the anxiousness would build to the point I would get up and I'd be pacing and then I would go eat something and because at least I was doing something, and that would seem, but what watches that? The anxiousness, the pacing in the kitchen, the eating, the feelings after the eating, the need. What's watching that? It goes wherever you are because it's you. That's where the focus is.
But I feel like I want to say that I can't control the habit, let's say the eating stuff. It's happening, and then the thoughts will be there before, during, or after, mainly after. You're eating too much, you shouldn't be eating. So there's the thoughts, but the actual fact that I'm eating and eating more is happening, and I can't do anything about it, and that's really frustrating.
You don't do anything about it. What watches? What watches? So what happens is while that's happening, you can't do anything about it. It's doing its thing and it's building and building, and it might feel like it's intensifying, but it's getting ready. It's building, and soon it will when it's time. So what watches? It's not important that that stops. What watches the dynamic? That's why refocusing on what's watching as you're eating and putting food in your mouth and pacing and feeling anxious, and the thoughts. What's watching the thoughts? Something's watching them. Something's watching the food. Something's feeling the feelings after the food. The thought that it needs to be productive. What's watching? So it's not important that you sit on the couch or that you're in with your nose in the fridge. It doesn't matter. What's happening is happening. That's happening. You're not going to control it. But what watches it? That's where you want to keep refocusing. What's aware of it? That's who you are. Everything else is an automatic program, a mechanism just working. You don't have any control over it.
Yeah.
What watches it?
Yeah.
That's
And I've noticed lately, the more I do that, Jenny, the more I go and be in that space as best I can. It's sort of a falling back into presence awareness, that silence, the stillness. Out in front, then there's a real anger and rage with that is doing nothing for me. It never has, never will. It's sitting
those,
back there.
yeah, those are what's rising. That's the dross. That's the dross coming up, all those suppressed emotions that you wouldn't let yourself feel before. See, now that you're sitting in that place of awareness, all that suppressed crap is going to come up to be seen. And it's going to blame the awareness. Sitting here's never done anything for me. It has nothing to do with what it's blaming. It has nothing to do with what it's blaming. It's just the raw expression that's coming up to be witnessed.
Yeah. And it feels like that's why I'm expressing tonight. There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of stuff, and there's probably whatever, lots more. And it needs a voice, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe just sitting and allowing it in whatever form it takes without having to punch walls and punch bags.
Whatever it does, it doesn't matter. It can have a voice, it can be punching things, let it come up. All that is suppressed stuff that now you're able to witness. So it's going to come up and you want to shove it back down. Get up, get food, get anything, get away from this. I don't want to experience this. Let it come up. It's coming up now so that it can be seen, because you're in a place that can see it and be with it. And it's going to blame you, because that's what it's going to do. You sitting there like a bump on a log. It's not doing a damn thing. I'm not anymore. Wait, can you see that that's a thought yelling at you? It's a thought yelling at a thought. It's two thoughts yelling at each other, arguing.
Yeah, it's kind of entertaining.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
And
one
what's
thing,
watching it? Yeah.
Dennis, that rage and anger is just another version of the desire to eat or whatever other distractions that come up for you. Right. So again, its intentions are good. It's looking after you as best it knows how. It's just totally inadequate in the way it does it, but that's its intention. So that rage is another diversion. It's another way of getting away from what's really going on. So I want to put to you that a curiosity about what's going on, not the answers that might be revealed, they might or might not, but just having a really curious attitude, right? So you experience the desire to eat, or you experience that frustration, or you experience the rage, right? Then the appropriate attitude to them is, okay, what's going on? Not expecting an answer, just expressing a curiosity about what's going on. Answers will reveal themselves, but you can't dig them out. They've got to come up willingly, and they'll only come up willingly when you've got a certain attitude. So if you get consumed by the anger, There no answers are going to come. But if you're curious about the anger, answers just might come. But regardless, that curiosity will do something to the anger that you'll be quite surprised about if you can hook into that one. So just invite curiosity to be more prominent in your life.
Also notice
Yeah.
if you have created some kind of idea about your awakening, what your awakening is supposed to be like.
No,
So
I've no idea.
When I'm awake, something, you know, like I'm going to feel this way, or something, you know, like going to be revealed. I'm going to see something, going to experience something. And that's like a clarity you're chasing. And that's all mind created story. That's what been chased, that mind created story. And that's why, you know, like it keeps you just going somewhere. So just that movement.
So you
Yeah,
say
I
you
think
have no idea, but you also said a moment ago you had 2 moments, two minutes of clarity once upon a time, and I suspect that is a very strong pull for you to go back to that.
Well, I was just about to say after no idea, the only one that lingers around is the sense of, well, I won't be here. So it's not like I want something to be a certain way when I'm awake because I won't be here.
Mm.
You
Well,
won't be here to stand.
you will be there. You still will be there, right? But you'll recognize that as just spontaneous, habitual, old stuff that doesn't mean anything.
You'll be here in a way that you don't, because you won't be here. You'll be here expressing kind of as Dennis, because you are and you're not, but you'll still be here more fully. Like when you go back to that awareness, you still there?
Yeah.
Right, more so. And
Yeah,
then
it's
there's
funny
the
when I said it. When I said it, it was like, well, what if awakening is just this? So it's not a
Yes.
big shock or change that you're just here and it's just
Yes.
this and you're just talking, and maybe you're bombarded by the body mind sensations. Maybe you're not. I don't know. But maybe you're just less caught up with them. I don't know. I don't want to make plans about the future, but
This is it.
and maybe the
This,
fear of something big and a big change, and oh, be careful. And Angelo DeLulo talks about, warnings, and there's the videos lately about people going off the rails and stuff going wrong and mental health, and you're like, oh, this could really fuck you up.
oh God.
So like maybe put this stuff away now before it's too late. But then and then you end up going, it's just this, like I'm just here, it's just me now talking, like what's that all about?
Talking, expressing, words are coming out. So you're expressing as Dennis. But if you go back to awareness, you can see that Dennis is just a bunch of thoughts and beliefs and programs and agreements that you agreed when you were a little boy that you're a guy called Dennis. You can see it's just a bunch of beliefs and thoughts, but that awareness, that's you. So when you're just that, you're still here. Only
and
you're
that
free.
expresses perfectly like that without using the word Dennis or a bunch of thoughts or feelings. Because when I'm expressing now and I'm talking, I'm not referring to Dennis or Dennis's past or future. Like it's happening quite naturally. I'm able to talk quite naturally. It's coming out of nowhere. It's going back to nowhere, and
Yes.
that's all fine. But it's when it gets mixed up in emotions and thoughts mess it all up.
Yeah, you're still
Definitely.
here. You're still here, expressing as Dennis. And then the expression of Dennis, when you get that you're not all those thoughts of Dennis becomes much freer. Because now it's the clarity of your expression through that vehicle.
And I want to
there's definitely a desire for that freedom, or that felt sense of freedom, fearlessness.
And when you're in that awareness, isn't that it? Are you limited? Are you bound? Just look, don't think.
No, it's wide open. It's say what you want, do what you want.
Have you been
but
looking
it's
for
not stupid.
No, it's very wise. Yeah. And it also understands, and it's kind. So it understands the fears too that Dennis still has, that needs to, that it's, you know, working I don't know, working through words are so limited. So it's kind. It's not going to just like, you know, it's compassionate. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to express it, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Dennis, do you want to find out whether you will disappear or not?
Yes, Alan.
Yes.
Well, one way to do it is to just have a look at what Vince said about being curious.
Hmm.
So right now, if you're happy to do it,
Yeah.
you're talking about the anger and the rage. What's the most prominent feeling you've got right now?
I'm finding it hard to, Alan, to clarify what it is. I'm just sensing in.
Yeah, and it could be just confusion.
Well,
Just
let's generate some of that anger and frustration, Janice. It's easy to generate it. You're fucked. You got no chance of getting anywhere. Yeah, you've been doing it for years and it hasn't worked. You just give up, you know.
I feel it's like, yeah, I'm trying to restrain myself a little bit, but it's like
no,
a fucking
don't
comedy.
restrain. Yeah, don't restrain yourself. Let it be. Let it be.
Yeah, well,
What's
it's a
what's
whole,
the feeling?
this is fucking ridiculous. This is stupid. This is a comedy. This is bullshit.
Mm-hmm. So what's the feel? What's the feeling? What's the sensation?
Just a very, and it is a subtle thought, but what keeps just bubbling up is the sort of helplessness.
Helplessness. How would you describe how that really feels? What's the sensation? Is it vibrating? Is it burning? Is it just this total emptiness? What's the sensation?
It feels in the chest and just below the chest. It just feels collapsed.
Okay.
The body collapses. It feels like low energy, defeated.
So feel into that. Feel into that collapsing. Just be really curious about what is this collapsing. Is there a feeling of I don't want to go there?
No, there's just a looking to see what
Beautiful.
comes up.
Tell us if anything changes.
Yeah, there's slowly energy is moving up around the back of the shoulders, and I just got a sense there, starting to come a sense of sadness.
A sadness. Help us understand what you're really feeling there by telling us what's going on with the sadness. What's at its core?
I think, again, things are very subtle, but it's the beginnings of I'm no good.
I'm no good. Okay, so we can see that as a thought, and what's the sensation that's wrapped around that, or what's at the core of that I'm no good? Where in the body is it? Just
No, it
let me
definitely
know.
feels around the heart area, the solar plexus.
Uh-huh. What's the feeling around the heart? Just that sigh, just a bit of a letting go. Is it a heaviness or a tightness or a
Oh, very much heavy. Yeah.
very
Yeah,
heavy?
heavy.
Okay,
Yeah.
a heavy. Okay, feel into that heaviness. That's the sort of sensation that we're curious about. Get really curious about that heaviness. Is it around the heart and the solar plexus, or one more than the other?
It's like a crushing down
Uh-huh.
the chest, heart, and the point it's holding is the solar plexus, and the gut just feels relaxed.
So a crushing.
Yeah, the more I feel into it, the more I want to collapse and fall down, and just
Uh-huh.
it's like you're being crushed.
Are you willing to let that take you? Just let that crushing be. It's like just giving yourself to it, actually. Let it do what it needs to do. Just staying with it. Is there any change in the crushing?
Not really. Is this something that you could actually live with for the rest of your life? Would you be willing to do that? Yeah, just when you said that, it feels like I've been fighting against it my whole life, trying
Right.
to be up and out, and battle against life. But ultimately, it feels very crushing.
Life is one big no, eh? Fighting against life, you said.
Yeah, to be somebody.
To be somebody. And is that just another thought? To be somebody?
It is, but it feels like it's been generated from the heart or emotions.
So feel back into that crushing. Just feel into it. Is that crushing actually you or not?
No, it feels like the body's dealing with something.
Mm-hmm. And you're willing to trust that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How does that feel to be willing to trust it?
Takes the burden off me a little.
Ah, sweet. Takes the burden off you. And you feel yourself just being willing to let the body do what it wants to do even a little bit more. Just trust it.
Yeah, feels like I need to give it a break.
Beautiful. Give it a break. Just
It's done a
being.
great job so far.
What's that?
It's done a good job so far. It's got me. I was going to say it's got me here, but
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing, isn't it? Amazing. And are you still here? Are you still here, Dennis? Have you disappeared?
no,
No.
no.
No. So
I think,
this
Alan,
is...
when I disappear, everything's going with me. So,
but you said you think. When you think, you disappear. You see, that's what. It's just a thought, isn't it? It's
yeah.
just a thought. So what Anna and Jenny and Vince have been pointing to, this is what it means to really just be with what is. Just feeling into the sensation, the raw sensation without any judgment. And when we feel that commentary starting, we just say, okay, I hear you, but I'm just going to trust into what I'm feeling right now. How does it feel right now?
Right now, the area feels like there's a lot of energy and movement and aches and pains and just different things happening, adjusting, shifting.
Right.
In the physicality. There's no immediate emotion of any, sort.
So, I mean, that
so
can
I
make
think
sense.
just to stay curious and keep.
There it is.
We'll keep the space open for what might want to come up.
Absolutely. There it is, right there. I mean, it makes sense to the mind, this crushing and this resistance has been going on for years. There's so much been stuffed down. And now it's come to the point where you're just willing to let it come up, or it's going to come up itself because of what you're seeing that you hadn't seen before. So that's beautiful. If you're willing to stay there, Dennis, that's all. That's what we've all been just pointing to in this last part of the conversation.
Yeah, it's definitely shifted in my understanding of what to do. Is that I wouldn't have had that context that there's awareness and there's space for things now to come up. It feels like things are going backwards, getting worse. All this shit is happening,
right,
and further away from something. But in that context, it's like, okay, can you be that space to let this stuff come up and just observe and be there, and
absolutely,
with that compassion and curiosity and no expectation of something happening. And every now and then I'll be caught with a thought, and the mind will bring me back into that. But when you come out of it, you come out of it and go
there
again.
It is. And you know you cannot not be this space. That's what Dana and Jenny have been pointing to. That's who you are. It's just a thought that has us believe that we're not. That's all.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We love you, man. It's so so beautiful to see a man with a soft heart like this, just letting it have its way.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks for saying that. And thanks, everyone, for your contribution. Say that again, Anna.
I just want to add something. I don't know, you just try it and see if that is working for you, but for me, it works just perfectly. See next time when you see some sensation coming up, whatever you labels that sadness, anger, whatever, if we just see like that sensation is like a wee boy, a wee child, Dennis, and you help him. You just ask him, like you just feel really into him what he feels, you know, like what he needs the most from you as loving daddy. And he just gives that to him. Just open your heart and just like, that's your baby. Take him in and fully feel him. Help him to feel that through your adult body.
Yeah, no, that resonates. I've done a little bit of that, and it was very, very powerful, like exploding into emotions and crying and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Sometimes they want to say something. Sometimes they just want to feel. Sometimes they just need to cuddle, just soothe. It really, really depends on situation. We just really, really fall into that child part of adult Dennis.
Yeah, the last time I touched into child Dennis, he said, it was basically like, "Fuck you all." He was very angry. Yeah.
And just allow him to do that. Allow him just to shout and get angry and just express it fully. Just allow him. And then cry might come up and then you just soothe him. Just be there for him.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like a reintegrating. It feels like yeah.
And did you feel the softness in this last little while that's coming in, Dennis?
Yeah, more at peace.
Yeah.
Less above the head, more below the head.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Just allow that to flower.
I'd like to add something, Dennis, and what you said was a beautiful segue into it, that above the head and below the head, in the body or in the head, right? You said earlier, it's thoughts that cause all the trouble, right? It's thoughts that fuck you up. It's okay. It's not thoughts that do that. It's your relationship to thoughts that do that. Okay, so thoughts can be there. If your relationship to them is different, they don't have the effect that they used to have.
Yeah. And so the question, it's not to ask then how do I have a different relationship with them? It's doing that practice that will blossom on its own.
Yep, yeah. So this is an analogy that I use for that. Right. If you've got a friend that's a really, really good friend, somebody who you can be totally yourself and relaxed with, and they start waffling on about something or other, you can tell them, shut up and go away, leave me alone. I don't want to talk about that now. And they don't take offense. They just do it because they know you're not in a space to be receptive about that. Right. And your thoughts, you can have that friendly relationship with your thoughts where you tell them, fuck off, leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it at the moment. And they'll just go into the background. They still yabber on, but they're not going to be insistent that you engage with them. It's a friendly relationship. The thoughts are not an enemy.
Yeah, that would have tripped me up because I would have said, well, that's just another thought. But that's really just a thought coming around the corner when you've told them to fuck off. They're checking. Are you sure? And you're just, the silence is enough to go, be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're 3/4 of the way up Mount Everest at the moment. So just keep going. You're doing well. I like it.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
I'll be rude and interrupt. I know there's people waiting their turn patiently.
You're talking, keep going.
That sounds like a good one. Yeah.
No, I just want attention. Very selfishly and rudely. I just wanted to be an asshole. And
Great.
or bullshit. I'm I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick. It feels so fake when I say it. It feels so fake when I say it. I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of knowing. Why does it feel so fake when I say it?
So don't think about it. You said it feels so fake. Okay, tell me about the feeling of fakeness. Where is it? What does it feel like?
It's not a feeling.
Oh, so you don't feel like you're being fake. You think you're being fake.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Right. Okay, well, that's
It's just a
legitimate.
lot
isn't
of
it?
resonance. There was that thought over and over again, and noticing that it's a thought, but it felt right. It felt true. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of this. Like, it's just so obvious, the eyeing. I can't stand eye. Like, all this stuff in my head maybe 20 minutes ago, just reoccurring, looping over and over again. And for some reason, it just feels like, I don't know. It's like, I'm sick of analogies.
Why don't you just tell us how you feel right now?
I
And it
want to
doesn't-
be. How do
It doesn't have to
how does that? How do I say that? How do I
say it
feel?
again.
How do
say-
I say?
say-
How do I feel?
Say whatever
Huh?
you want to say. Say whatever you want to say.
I just want it.
Doesn't have
Want
to
to
be
be struck
nice.
by like I want to be struck by lightning. I want this fire to just burn everything away. I'm sick of it already. I'm so sick. I'm so sick of how it's like this whole thing. It's so selfish and it's so it's like this world of everyone needing something for themselves and taking away from others, and it's just so sickening, and I hate it. And I can see how it's like all these tricks of the mind constantly just saying things and seeing things outside of myself that's just a reflection of myself. I'm so sick of this. I'm so
Mhm.
sick of the smoke and mirrors constantly. And even now it's like it's like I'm just I don't know, more fuel, more fire to the more energy towards the illusion, more dual, whatever. Like I'm
How does it feel to be feeding that duality and running around on the world being? How does it feel? How does it make you feel?
I just don't want this to go under the rug because it's gonna go under the rug. I know how this is. It's a fucking cycle over and over again. It's just gonna go under the rug, and then it's going to be buried for a while, and then it's just gonna be there still the entire time. And and it's like well, I want a one and done. Like while it's here, I want it to be done. I'm so sick of waiting. I don't want to be stuck in this stupid dream for another few days, getting lost, desperate for looking, trying to avoid stuff. Just like it's just so frantic and desperate and hopeless. It's like seeing it happening and I'm not in control of it. And I see that it's just, and all just talking is just more distraction. And
So you're sick of the seeker and you want to wake up.
yeah, that's a nice way of saying it, huh?
Is that it?
If you wanted to put in a box, yes.
All the frustration, the anger, the chasing your tail, never getting anywhere, and you can see
Yes.
yourself doing it, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you're freaking sick of
Yes.
it. And you want to stop
Yes.
it,
Yes.
right?
It's like it's more like, I don't know. Right now I don't want anything to be stopped. I just want it to burn everything that is.
Yeah, express
Like-
it. Express how sick of the
It's
seeker
like-
that you are.
It's like I don't know, the shit burning mood is like the shit burning fire is here, so I want to keep fueling the shit burning fire, something like that. I don't want to.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
stoke that fire. Soren, I want you to stoke that fire. What I want you to do is I want you to say, I want. I want. I want you to really get into it and say it over and over and over and over. Stoke that fire. Let's get a bit of heat into that fire.
Yeah,
Fan
I
it.
want and I'm sick of wanting. I want and I'm sick of wanting. I want to
I don't
stop
know.
wanting, but I really want.
I don't know. This feels fake.
It does, doesn't it?
I hate it.
So go down and just really, what do you want to say? If nobody cared, nobody was listening, you're in your room alone, what do you want to say that nobody's hearing? Doesn't have to be polite. It can be mean,
Yeah,
rude.
please kill me.
Please
Please.
kill me.
Yes.
I'm so fucking miserable.
I'm not miserable. But I don't know. There's doubt.
You are, and then you're not, and then you are, and then you're not, and then you're happy, then you're sad, then you're excited, then you're angry, then you're pissed off, and then you're elevated again and you're excited, and it's all over the place. Is that it?
Sounds right. Yeah, sounds about right.
Mhm. And you're running around in all that chaos and can't seem to get out of it.
Yes. There's
Can-
like a
really-
sheepishness, foolishness, foolish smile. Like, oh wow, how silly I look. How silly this is.
Yeah.
How silly
Yeah.
this seems.
There's another one. I'm silly. Now I feel silly. Now I'm embarrassed. Now it's fake. Now I'm a fake. Now I'm angry again. Now it's funny. And now it's angry again. And now I'm really excited. It's all over the place, isn't it? Can you see? Can you see that you're identified and lost in your thoughts and emotions? And you think that that's you, and it's like freaking chaotic because you're spinning around with no eye of the storm. What's watching all that?
I don't know. I know there's just a watcher. I know there's just sensations. The pointer is there's
You
like
know it
a
intellectually, you know it's intellectually, but what's watching experientially right now, direct?
there's just a bunch of sensations, just a bunch of appearances.
Sensations and appearances, you're right, emotions, thoughts, and
No, it's just
just
a bunch of appearances. Yeah,
appearances, emotions,
just
reactions, sensations, and what's watching? Not there is a watcher. Don't go in your head, sense it. What's watching?
What?
It's not a thing.
What watcher?
What watcher? It feels like you.
No, it doesn't. What watcher?
Is there a watcher? Is there something watching?
What watcher? No.
Step back from all those appearances. Just step back. Go put them in a little box for a minute. You can take them back later. What's left?
Okay.
What's left?
Some whatever is modulating its attention.
Yeah.
It-
Yeah. Attention. Attention. That
Like
attention.
the flashlight's just waving itself all over wherever.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so take that flashlight and anchor it. Anchor it inside yourself. Leave all those objects in the box. You can pick them up later. Take that modulating, looking, and anchor it in yourself. Take a breath. Take a breath and anchor it in yourself. Just keep anchoring in yourself. Merge with it. Now merge with it. And hold it there. Now ground down through your feet. What's watching at ground?
I don't know.
Right, you don't know. Keep it anchored in your body. You're right, you don't know. It's just watching. Keep it anchored in your body. Merge with it. And ground it. And practice this. Practice this. Put your appearances in the box. You can pick them up later. Merge with what's watching. Anchor it in your body. Ground it. And then when you choose to open up the box again, remember this. And if you lose it again, put your objects back in a box. You can pick them up later because you will pick them up later. They have to be dealt with. But they can't be dealt with until you ground this in your body and merge with it. Do you get it? Don't understand it. Sense it. Keep bringing it back. Merge with it and anchor it in your body. When your mind wants to go for the box, say, I can go get that in a minute. It's okay, it's safe. We'll deal with it in time. Anchor it. Merge with it. That's it. Keep practicing that. When you get that box and you open it up like Pandora's box, you may get lost in it again. So remember, thank it. Say, I'm going to deal with you in a little while. Put it back in the box. You can get it later because it'll happen. It's okay.
Very stubborn when the box gets open and it has its hands on all the toys. It's
Yeah,
very
it
stubborn.
does. It's okay.
It's
But now
not-
you know what to do. Now you know what to do.
Yeah, it's like it's going to be, oh yeah, okay, now we know what to do. Yeah, okay.
See, it's back out. You see it? It's okay. It's all right.
What?
It's back out. The thought that we're not going to know what to do. Bring it back in. What's watching that thought? Anchor it in your body. You had the thought, we're not going to know what to do, and it took you away for a moment. It's okay. It's going to do that.
See, here's the thing. There's going to be, it's a very, oh yeah, everything's in a box. Okay, let's put it, like, keep in the box, keep the box closed, keep the box closed. Oh, okay, the box is open. Yeah, all
No,
good
no, you
things.
see what
Okay.
happened? Wait, you see what happened is you didn't have to go get the box. It's already happening. The box is an illusion. It's just made up. Because you
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
yeah, you see, it's happening already. You don't need to open that box. You see, it's already starting to think, I'm going to go get that box and this is going to happen. And okay, well, go back to the body. What's watching? What's watching that thought? You don't got to go
I
get
can't
that box.
possibly live without it.
I know there's another one. There's another one. I need my chaos. Okay. So what's watching? You need that chaos. It's like an addiction, isn't it?
Why is it?
It's you can't understand why. That's another thought. I need to know why. There's another one. I need to know why. Okay. So what's watching that thought?
Why not just throw it away right now? Never use it again.
It
If
wants to
it's-
keep playing you until you can come back and stay grounded.
Just throw it away now.
It's there to help you. It's there to help you ground. It's not going to go away till you ground. It's there to say, come on, let's play. Let's play. Let's get crazy. Let's get chaotic. Come on, feel this, feel this. You're going to feel those emotions. You're going to feel them. It's your relationship to them that's important. Are you going to let them run you amok? Or are you going to watch them from this place? Like your little children, they're helping you. They're helping you ground. They're not going to go away. You're going to be the driver. And from this place, this eagle's perch, this place of awareness, you're going to watch them play without getting sucked in. That's the job. And if they suck you in, it's okay. You'll pop back out again, and then you know where to go. What's watching? What's watching? Oh, it can't be this easy. What's watching? What's watching? They're going to play with you. They're not going to go away. They're helping you get strong. They're helping you know who you are, not them. You're not them. You're this. Don't expect to be perfect. They're not going to go away. And you're going to get in and think you're them again, and it's okay. Who's watching? That's where you keep going back.
There's this, there's a wanting of the steeping of this
Yeah,
sharing.
that wanting is very deep.
Understanding your transient presence and trying to steep in that, and then trying to carry this on forward, trying to.
You're not going to carry it on forward. You're not going to. Because you're still trying to get rid of your chaos. It's not going to go away.
It's what I was referring to is like take her wisdom and then keep using it over and over.
If you can understand what I'm saying about the watcher, bring it in your body and merge with it. Without your chaos, you're the watcher. And your chaos isn't going away. It's there to teach you something. So you don't just, you stay as the watcher, but sometimes you can slip into the chaos. It's all right. There's not like something wrong with that. That's part of the expression. You're learning how to drive the car. It's hard to describe. It's not going to go away, but you're going to stop driving all over the road like crazy. You're still going to have emotions. You're going to feel sad. Okay, you're learning how to drive the car. You're going to feel sad. You could feel grief. You could feel crazy sometimes. You can feel happy. All these emotions are part of the human experience. You're learning to drive the car from the driver's position rather than swinging all over on the ice. The chaos will turn into more organized emotions, and sometimes they won't be organized. I can't say. Sometimes the chaos will still be there. It just won't be a problem anymore because you'll know who you are. You're the anchor. You're the eye of the storm. Can you feel that?
Yes.
Don't be afraid to feel. Don't be afraid to have chaos. It's going to come in your life as a human. Trying to make it go away will only be bypassing. But you're the anchor. You're the eye. You're the one that watches.
Thank you, Jenny.
You're welcome.
Soren, I get the impression that you've been burdened with too much intellect. Your intelligence level is too high, and it's been a problem because when you think you're feeling something, you're not actually feeling something, you're only thinking that you're feeling something. And so you've got your mind is so big and so strong and so active, right? You could pass the test for being awake without any trouble, but you're not awake. But you could pass the test because you know the answers to these questions. You know it, eh? So does this resonate? Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that we need to focus on is how to actually feel what's going on in the body. Right. And now that invites you to think about it when I say how to actually feel, but actually feeling is a really tricky thing because a lot of when we have an emotion, we're responding to stories, and those stories beget other stories, and they take us away from what we're feeling. So it's a real trick to get into what is actually going on in terms of sensation, and that is sensation without being influenced by the story, although that's not possible. But anyway, so learning how to feel, I think, is a really, really crucial thing for you. It's not that there's anything wrong with the mental stuff. It's just that it takes over. Am I talking shit, or does that resonate with you?
No, this resonates.
Mm. So how do we get to fully appreciate what a sensation is? How do we get there without the mind coming along and corrupting it?
What are you feeling in your body right now as a sensation?
Sensations here.
What does it feel like? describe them. Pinchy,
Here,
scattery, static.
here,
Describe them like electric, static,
like
heavy,
a, like
pressure.
a pressured whir.
Where's the pressure?
Like here.
Okay, and is there an emotion that goes with it?
That's the mind's.
No, don't
Right?
think. No,
No,
don't
but
think.
that's the mind's.
No, you're not gonna think. It's a question. The mind is
But I
trying to
have to
figure out.
use, no, but I have to use the mind to answer that.
No, you can look, sense it. Don't use the mind. Don't use the mind, sense it. You're gonna practice something different. So go back to the head, the sensation. Where's the sensation? Okay, now don't think if there's an emotion with it. Sense. Is there any other sensations happening now? If no emotion comes, that's all right. You're sensing,
Oh,
you're not
it's
thinking.
it's changing. Texture
Mhm.
changing, shifting,
What's it feel like now?
churning.
Churning. Now sense, don't think. Sense. Any emotion? Are there any other sensations in your body, anywhere else in your body while that's happening? Yeah. Don't think. Just sense. Brain's quiet. Just sense. Yeah. Do they feel like contractions, constrictions, or more like electric, heaviness?
Feels like this headphone's clamping on my head.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
hard.
Okay. Yeah. Now just sense if there's any emotion. And don't think, if nothing comes up, that's okay. Sense the body again. Are there more sensations? How's the clamping on your head? Don't think, sense. Just be with it. Do you ever remember a time when you were sad and crying, actually crying because you were sad?
Sure, there are lots of times.
So you do remember crying when you're sad. It's not an unfamiliar feeling.
It's when I'm sad.
No, he went into his head again.
Yeah, don't think.
The-
Don't think.
There was earlier in this call, there was like the impulse of like, I feel so crushed and sad that it's like the crying reflex, but it didn't actually happen.
Okay, so it's not an, okay, so when I say, is there an emotion coming up, that's what I'm talking about. It starts as a sensation before tears happen, right? Maybe a closing of tightness in the throat.
see.
You see, that's what I'm saying. When I say, is there an emotion associated with that sensation, that's what I'm talking about. Not the actual expression of it.
I see.
So tell me about the sensations in your body.
Anger?
Yeah, you smile before you get angry, don't you? Don't think, go back in. Feel the body. Is it safe to be angry?
No,
Yeah.
automatic response.
Okay, now go back in your body and feel it. Feel the sensation and feel the anger. You have permission to rage on here and no one's going to leave you. You have permission to call me every name in the book and no one's going to leave you.
That's not the impetus.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
The anger turns on itself.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's like, curse this fucking illusion. Curse this
Uh-huh.
fucking.
Okay, so you're calling yourself an illusion in order to hate yourself. Yeah,
Is that me that I'm calling it?
you think you think you're the illusion. No, it's not you. It's not you. Okay, so don't think, don't think, don't think, don't think, don't think, don't think. Go back to the sensation. Because we're avoiding the anger, right? We're avoiding the anger. Go back in. It's turning inward. It hates itself. It hates the illusion. It hates itself. Is it safe to hate yourself?
No.
What'll happen if you hate yourself? Don't think, sense it. Don't think. What'll happen if you hate yourself? Don't think. Sense it. You can hate yourself and no one's leaving. Well, we're not leaving. You can hate yourself. What's going to happen if you hate yourself? Can you feel the sensation in your body?
Yes.
Okay, where is it?
It's faint here.
Yeah. Who told you? Who told you you were bad? What'd they tell you?
I don't know.
Don't think. Don't think. Go back into the sensation in your body. Where is it? So tap that a little bit. Tap that sensation. What's it feel like, that sensation? Is it dense, heavy? Tap it a little bit.
It's
Yeah. Gripping?
yes.
Gripping, yeah. And just be with that. Now don't think, just sense it. What's wrong with you? What do you feel in your body? Okay. Any emotions, sensations? Don't think. Are there any emotions coming up? Preliminary emotions, tightness in your throat, heart heaviness. What do you say about yourself? And don't think, sense it. What's wrong? What's bad? What's to hate? Does anything come to mind? Does anything come to you? Sense it, don't think it. Yeah, that thing right before you smiled. What is it? You can
No,
say it.
I just forgot.
What?
It's just it
It came up for a second?
and it's gone.
Yeah, so go back in the sensations. Let me coax it back up. Do you feel safe doing this with us?
Yes, yes, very.
So go back into the sensation. Where is it? in your head? What's it feel like?
Foggy.
Foggy. Okay, great.
An
That's a feeling.
abrasive, like an abrasive fogginess.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Anywhere else in your body? That spot, your
Gripping.
arm. Gripping. So grip it. Grip your arm. Grip your arm the way it grips. Yeah, grip it and let go. Grip it and let go. What's that right before? Right before you smiled, what was that?
Did I just smile?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
It's right. It's right before you smile, because the smile is how you distract from it. Yeah. So get out of your head and go back in and feel. There's a gripping in your arm. Yeah. Yeah. Feel it. Grip your arm and let go. And grip your arm. Where else do you feel it? Anywhere else in your body? Back of your head?
My
What's it feel
ear
like?
is tingly. It's like being crushed.
Yeah. Any emotions? Don't think, just sense. Right there. Right there, right before you smile. What is it?
I don't know, shame. The smiling just
There,
happens.
shame, totally,
Shame?
shame. Okay. How does that feel? Shame.
Yes.
Feel the shame. Where is it in your body? Yeah. What's that feeling like in your chest?
Cloudiness? I don't know.
Okay, cloudiness,
Light.
that's fine. Put your hand on it where you feel it in your body. And be with that. And just be with that. And breathe. Any sensations? Tell me the sensations. Sense, don't think. Sense, sense. Do you feel anything in your body?
It's like a sat pulsing.
Okay. What's the feeling? What's the emotion? Don't think, just sense it. Just the sensations before the expression. Tell me how your body's feeling. Sense it.
More flowful. It's like there's like water flowing into dried riverbeds, like tingly.
So I think you're gonna access your emotions through your sensations this way rather than through your mind. Because your mind is bypassing the emotions and it's causing chaos. Doesn't know what you're feeling. So access your emotions this way instead. And notice when you start to smile, because it's going to be the thing that happens right before you smile. Unless you're actually feeling bliss. Because most of the time you're smiling to bypass it. Do you see that? Can you see that? There's humor and there's bliss, but all the other smiles are distractions. And you're going to access your emotions through your sensations, not your mind.
So one thing to think about, Soren, is that if you can describe what you're feeling, then it's not what you're feeling. What you're feeling is indescribable. It's below anything that words can touch. And that's where you need to go to look. So if you find yourself labeling it, that's not it. That's a diversion away from it. What it is, that sensation is, what you're feeling is way too complex and too ephemeral. It's not static, it moves, it shifts, it changes, and it can't be described accurately. We can only simplify it to a nth degree in order to be able to describe it. And it's really got nothing to do with what's actually going on when we do that. So when
Yes.
you said, what are you feeling? And you touched yourself, that was beautiful. That was a non-word recognition of what was going on in your body. That's the level that you need to be able to access to do what Jenny's talking about.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Vince, because when I say what emotion, I don't want you to actually get to the emotion. I'm trying to get you to sense more sensations, like the gripping of the throat before the tears. You know, there's all these sensations that happen before that are subtler and subtler. That's why I don't want you to think about an emotion. It's just getting all the sensations in your body from the dense to the subtles.
And it takes practice.
And then there's the one that watches, you see, that doesn't get lost in them, which is you, the real you. Do you see? See, now that's a smile, you see? Can you, I don't know, it's very subtle difference. There's a connection smile and there's the one that comes right after a certain uncomfortable feeling.
They don't feel differentiable.
Yeah, you'll start to notice in time. Just be with it and you'll go, yeah, you'll notice. It could just be an involuntary body tick that looks like a smile. I don't know, but there's a definite, right? I can sense that something's coming up and then you'll get this smile and I'll feel it go back down again. So just be with the sensations. That's all.
Be curious, play around. Yeah.
Curious.
What can be also useful, it's to get more sensitive with the sensation. You can feel the body where it's neutral. You don't have to always go into the deep end trying to find your deepest suffering and feel it, or feel what is below. Of course, it's a very this is the intention at the end, but to develop some sensitivity around sensation, you can also just feel your feet on the floor. Try to feel your feet all day long. When you remember, feel your feet. When you remember, feel your feet. And just stay with this sensation of kind of neutral, of like it's almost nothing, you know, like your butt on the chair, your hair, the wind. By doing this, you retrain your brain and neural system and nerve system to go back again into sensation, and because those sensations will not be charged with emotion or kind of history, it will be easier for the body at the beginning.
And now we'll just see what happens. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to pull the plug in about 15 minutes. So if there's anybody else wants to bring up anything, let's go. No? Okay.
I actually have something.
Yeah, go.
Are you able to hear me? I put on some
Yeah.
headphones. Okay, so when you get to the point of where it's just the reactions associated with thoughts, how do you have any advice or pointers for sort of letting the thoughts come, but then not having the reactions that come with them, or like the gap between like the thought and reaction?
Yeah. It comes back to something else as well that can be considered here, and that is control. Do you have control to stop a reaction when you have a thought? Well, no, you don't. Obviously, you don't.
Right.
So things are going to happen whether you like them or not. Yeah, that's going to happen. So if you have a thought and it's of a certain nature, then you're going to react to it, right? But here's the thing. Are you lost in that reaction, or are you observing the reaction as it happens?
Right.
Again, it's not something you can control, but it is something you can develop. So you can develop. So if you do have a reaction, almost certainly the time will come when you recognize that you were sucked in, that you had that reaction. It might be minutes later, it might be hours later, it might be the next day, or it might be instant. It might come really quickly. And the more you practice that recognition, the quicker it will happen. And so when you do recognize it, guess what happens? It almost immediately aborts the reaction.
Yes.
Because you're outside of it, seeing it. Yeah. And it changes after a while too. Not only will you see that you reacted, and that will cause less reactions, it will change the reaction, but what's behind the reaction? That reaction is in fact being triggered by something. The fact that you're not in the reaction and being sucked into the emotions involved with it gives you the opportunity to be open to seeing what's behind it. And that allows you to get a glimpse of. So those things reveal themselves. We can't go chasing them, and we're not going to find them by that way, but they will reveal themselves when we relax. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have that makes sense, because it's been, well, if I can just sit here, something's going to come up. If I wait long enough, something's going to come up.
For
and
sure.
then
Yeah.
it's just
That's
seeing
been
that thing
helpful,
come up.
Yeah.
And I've seen like there doesn't seem to be much behind there. There isn't like a me that is reacting. I've been trying to like, well, see that, just see like what, like you're saying, what is behind the reaction. I guess it just takes time.
Yeah, and practice. Yeah.
If I can add to it,
Yeah.
I found that these group meetings are interesting in how I can relate to someone else, feel into their situation. Too complicated. When Soren was speaking, and I was very much relating to it, and I just watched it. I was not engaged in conversation with Jenny, but I got so angry with Jenny, furious, shaking with anger.
Great. I love it. I love it. Yeah. She does too. Yeah. And did you see what was propelling that in you? What did you want to shout at Jenny in your anger? What did you want to shout at her?
When she asked Soren what is he feeling, and then she continued, is it this, is it that? I wanted to shout, I will tell you what I'm feeling if you shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It was the moment where
Yeah. So tell her what you were saying. You know, Jenny, you weren't giving him a chance to feel what you're asking him to feel.
yeah,
Yeah.
giving the tips. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. It was also like, stop gaslighting me. I know what I feel. Don't tell me.
That's so good. Bianca, that's so good. Did that have you have access to something? Is that a familiar feeling for you? For people to tell you how you're feeling and to gaslight you?
Not so much. I don't think so. There is a thing about, I talked about it with Vince lately, about my tendency to become overconfident if in my wisdom, and then becoming patronizing.
Oh, so that's what you were seeing in me.
Patronizing.
Yeah, so that's what you were seeing in me then? That was upsetting you?
Maybe. Not sure yet. I have to to look at it more, feel into it more.
Thank you.
Feel it more.
It's so awesome. I just love the transparent and authentic, because you know, in this space that you can say, I was pissed at you, you know, and I was so angry at you. And I love that. Oh man. To me, it's a safety. It feels when people can, when people can just share authentically what's coming up. I love it. Thank you.
Yes, I feel safe saying that because I know you understand it's it's about me. And yeah, it's
Thank you.
and
It's
it
all,
was only in the beginning, and then it just vanished.
yeah, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
This was tonight was a roller coaster, and I wonder, if this no separation is like with all feelings, or it just seems so flowing, like I was in first with what's his name? It's like I could, it's like I can feel others.
Yeah, there is no new thought. There's no new thought. They're all swirling around in there. He doesn't love me. She doesn't love me. They take
No,
advantage.
but
And him-
you
Well, I
know,
was getting to the sensations too. When I'm speaking to someone and I'm feeling me,
yeah,
y-
in
it-
others,
yes,
yeah,
yeah, it's I can't explain it.
it's always been
I-
like this
For humanity or
for
for
this.
us?
No, I mean in the story or in me.
Oh, I don't know.
No, I think that my nervous system and my body. I mean, it's not. It's like it's not. No, I mean, I really get why I've been so crazy. I just kind of. I kind of. Oh, I kind of can see. With all this confusion.
Yeah, breathe into that. Breathe into that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just be with that.
This was like an emotional, like memory lane.
And we don't really understand it. It could just be that we vibrate, but like we like activate things within each other. You know, so but who's experiencing it now is you. So that's in your system. So that belongs to
Yeah.
you. Right. So
I
so if you're
just want
feeling,
to say,
yeah. Yeah.
I just want to
So
say to surrender, it's okay. Really, I've been there. I've been like there.
yeah.
And Jenny, you're absolutely right. It's like go into your body, go into your feet, put them in cold water. Do just like to ground.
Yeah.
And it's
feel.
not dangerous to go down to feel. It's not. It's so much better than being up here. I mean, it's hallelujah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the way. Yeah, even if it hurts or if you're angry, just like feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It was good to just like
Mhm.
something clicked. Mm. Oh, I love you, Jenny.
Oh, thank you.
And Anna, you just started this evening perfectly. I don't know if she's here. Well, thank you for tonight. See you next Sunday. Mm.
Okay. Well, we'll call this an end, eh? So today, David, you hang around for a minute.
Mhm.
Or want to talk to you. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, just I was hoping you were going to be at the guide training session. Oh, hang on, I'll just finish the stop the recording.